In this video, I'm going to share with you some of the things that I wish I had known when I first started publishing books on Amazon KDP so that you can be as prepared as you possibly can for what may lay ahead. Welcome to my channel. My name is Caroline, and thank you for taking some time out of your day to join me over here on my channel where I release new videos every single week, just like this one. If this kind of content interests you, please take a moment to subscribe. Low content book publishing has become one of the more popular ways to make money with Amazon, and it is mostly promoted as being a very quick and very easy way to make money. But for 99% of us who do start publishing books on Amazon KDP, it is definitely not quick. And it is definitely not easy. It is also not impossible. And personally, I think it is a really fun business to work on. I love books. I love all kinds of books. I love reading high content books. I love collecting low content books like notebooks, journals, and stationery. So for me, I really enjoy it. For that reason, if you do not love books at all in any way, or you don't like making and designing books, then this may not be the business model for you, because you do have to have some level of enjoyment in what it is that you're doing, because you're going to be doing it day in, day out. And because it's not always easy, and it is definitely not a get rich quick overnight type of deal. But if publishing books is something that you think you would like to do, then here are some of the things that I wish I would have known early on in my KDP journey, which just might have made things a little less frustrating, a little less confusing if I had known them. So first of all, it becomes all about the marketing of the books instead of the actual making of the books. For me, the really fun part is the design and the creation of the books. I love designing the covers, the interiors, building those from scratch in the various programs that I use and putting it all together to make a book. And that is all great. I create a book, I publish it, it's up for sale on Amazon. Then what? We wait for sales, right? Because there are people out there who make it seem like all you need to do is just publish books and just constantly publish books over and over again, and they just miraculously sell by themselves, or Amazon sells them for you. And maybe you are one of those lucky few people who happen to publish a book and just for some reason it just takes off with very little effort on your part. But that is very rare, and it is not something that you should be counting on happening to you. So the daily work within your KDP business becomes the trying to sell the book part, promoting your books, getting them out there, getting them seen, getting reviews, participating in events or giveaways or in groups or something to help market your books, participating on social media to promote your brand and your books as well. And sometimes this becomes what you spend most of your time on. Actually, this is what you will spend most of your time doing. And sometimes it gets to the point where you have to find time to actually make more books. Now, next up, your cover is critical. This may seem like something very obvious or something that I shouldn't need to say, but I think what has happened with low and medium content book publishing is that people have sort of turned this into this churn and burn type of business or product. Create as many as possible and publish them as quick as you can, rather than focusing on creating something high quality and the best version that it could possibly be. And the reason people have turned to that method is because the idea was the more books you have, the more chance you have one of selling. So they're not churning through thousands of books to sell thousands of books or every single one of their books. They're churning out thousands of books in the hopes of selling maybe 1 or 2 or 5 every month. And just having more books increases your odds of selling more books, in theory. And when you get into that churn and burn cycle, you lose the quality. You don't care about what the design looks like, and you just pump out book after book with the hope that one of them might sell, rather than just creating something really good and has a really good chance of selling. Put yourself in the customer's shoes. You go to Amazon, you type something into the search bar that you're looking for example, a gratitude journal. What comes up next is this page, and they have all these hundreds of little thumbnails that pop up row after row, giving them so much choice, and they have to pick which one of those little thumbnails, showing all the little book covers on them, that they want to click on. If you aren't creating the best cover that you possibly can, or having someone make one for you the very best way possible, what chance is your book going to have of those customers on the search results page, your book surrounded by all the other thumbnails of other books? What's the chance they're going to click on yours if your cover is not on par with all the others, if not better? Why would a customer click on or pick a subpar, low quality book cover rather than a professional one? These are the types of questions that you have to ask yourself when you're in that planning and design phase. Your cover is basically the selling point of your book, the thing that catches the customer's attention. It's what tells them what the book is about or what they can expect if they do buy the book. Now, I know a lot of people will not like to hear this one, but you are going to have to spend money. At some point, maybe not right away, but at some point you will have to spend money on something. Yes, you can definitely start publishing books totally for free, and some people do create or have created successful publishing businesses without spending any money, but it's not easy, and it is probably something more that you could have done a few years ago when publishing low content books was first becoming known or recognized as a online business model. But I do believe that you need to invest. It could be in your business or it could be in yourself. You might need to spend money on some proper equipment or software or programs or applications to help you create the quality of books and the kind of books that you need to compete with the other books in your niche. Maybe you want to create puzzle books or activity books, so you will need to invest in software that helps you create these puzzles for those kinds of books. It might get to a point where you want to start advertising your books on Amazon ads or on Facebook ads to help you increase sales. Maybe you want to give copies of your books away to maybe people like social media influencers or something. So in those cases, you will have to spend money in buying copies of your books to send to those people. And this is all good stuff. It shouldn't be seen as a bad thing to spend money. You should really get in the mindset of it being an investment. And sometimes you might spend money on something like advertising that just in the end doesn't pay off. But it's all just a learning curve. And even if you lose money or you don't make money from something that you invest in, it's something that you now know, you can learn from that mistake, you can move on and improve that. And it's all about investing in yourself to improve your skills and your books, which is the best thing that you can do for the longevity of your publishing business. Don't be scared to spend money if you have the budget for it. Now, again, the next thing is something that not a lot of people like to hear, but this business model takes real work, and sometimes it's really hard work. Sometimes it is frustrating and you think you know what you're doing and then you find out that you don't. You think you know what the customers want, then you find out that you don't. You think you've created the perfect book, but for some reason it just doesn't sell. Or for some reason you just have a really hard time putting a particular book together or getting the cover to look right or the way you had imagined in your head. Or maybe you just can't figure out Facebook ads because Facebook ads are just so flipping confusing. As with anything to do with online business, things change all the time and so quickly. So you can't expect that what worked last year or even a few months ago will work now. And keeping on top of that is going to take work. You always have to be learning, figuring out what works and creating books. And then there's the marketing side of things where you always have to be marketing and promoting your books and your brand and be on top of social media and the different platforms or whatever social media platforms that you just choose to use and what works for you and your books, as well as staying on top of all the KDP requirements so that you are making your books correctly or whatever changes that they decide to implement. There is a lot that goes into having a legitimate publishing business on KDP or anywhere else for that matter that you don't really think too much about when you very first start making and publishing books. It's only when you start seeing your books sell and then you want to increase that or just have success with the books that you start to realize how much work, how much time and how much effort that you need to put in. The next thing that you need to understand is that you are not a graphic designer or illustrator, you are a publisher. I know that a lot of people who publish low and medium content books are not professional graphic designers or illustrators, and maybe they have had no experience whatsoever with graphic design or creating or publishing books, and that is totally fine. You don't really have to be a professional anything to create and publish books. It's one of the great things about publishing books, particularly low and medium content, which is probably a good thing, because once you start a business publishing specifically low and medium content books and even high content books, you then have a publishing business. You are not a graphic designer, you are not an illustrator, you are not a book creator or anything like that. You are a publisher. And because publishing books is more than just creating a book. This ties into a couple of my previous points I just made about it being more about the marketing than creating books, and that it is really hard work. A publishing company markets, it promotes, and it sells books in addition to making them. And this is what you will be doing when you publish books on Amazon KDP. You have to do everything yourself, unless of course you decide to outsource some of the work and hire people to help you with it. But even so, if you do that, you'll still be overseeing every aspect of the process of designing the book, creating the book, illustrating it, filling it with content, publishing it, and marketing and selling that book. Now, this one I maybe should have put first because I think it is probably the most important one, but something that you cannot do is compare yourself with anyone else who publishes books. Whether they've been doing it for 2 months or 2 years, it doesn't matter. Do not compare yourself. The problem with social media and things like Facebook groups where people get together and share their experiences, their tips, and their knowledge and information. That side of it is all great, but the problem is when people share their information and knowledge, or they share their income in particular, or their sales, is that you just don't really know if the person is telling the truth or not. Someone could just take a screenshot of their book sales and Photoshop it to make it look really fantastic, to make it look like they've made sales when they haven't. You just don't know if what they're sharing in these groups is real, is Photoshop screenshots, or are they actually what they've sold? And we kind of just take everything for face value and we believe everything that people sort of post, or I think most of us do anyway, because why would they lie? But sometimes we forget to put that into perspective and think about, is this screenshot of this person's sales honest and real? We assume it is, and then we feel bad or like we're failing or we're doing something wrong because we aren't making as many sales as that person. I've been doing it for 6 months. They've only been doing it for 2. Why are they already making thousands of dollars and I'm not? Then we have people who share their income reports on YouTube channels. And a lot of these people are very legitimate, very honest, and are showing true income reports. And first of all, I love income reports for any kind of online business, not just KDP. I am very nosy. I love knowing what people make money-wise. I find it very inspiring and motivational, but if you don't find them motivational, then it's probably not a good idea to watch them. And if you do watch them, you have to keep it in perspective of how long that person has been working at their business. If you've been publishing books for 2 months and they have been doing it for 2 years, you are going to be in very different places to each other. You could also be publishing very different books in very different niches and have totally different marketing strategies, or you could sell in different marketplaces, different countries that Amazon has a marketplace, and all these things will have a huge impact on the amount of sales that you make. So just focus on your own journey and do not worry about what other people are doing. Don't take everything that you see in Facebook groups or on social media at face value. Anyone can say that they're making any kind of money and they may not be. And definitely do not compare yourself, the kind of books that you make, and the kind of publishing business that you run to anybody else. So that is just a few things that I thought would have been really helpful to know before you start publishing books on KDP or on any other platform if you want to sell books elsewhere, or if you have just been thinking about doing it and have been wondering what kind of business it's like to work on. I create these videos to try to help make your journey with publishing just a little bit easier and smoother. And if I can help you create a more successful and more happy and smooth publishing business, then I'm grateful that I can do that for you. If you did get anything out of this video and you would like to see more like it, please let me know by giving this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.